ξεῖνοι ἀλλήλων πατρώιοι εὐχόμεθ εἶναι, εξ ἀρχῆς υπερτεγερόν εἰρηαι ἐπελθὼν, Λαέρτην maeroa, τον οὐκέτι φασὶ πόλινδε, ἔρχεσθ ἀπάνευθεν επ' ἀγροῦ πήματα πάσχειν, γρηὶ ἀμφιπόλῳ, βρῶσίν πόσιν παρτιθεῖ εούταν μην κάματος κατα γυῖα λαμπαίσιν, ཧερπουντζον ταν αγούνων ἀλωῆς οϊνοπεδόιο. How about there?
That's a good place to stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
We make the declaration, the solemn declaration, that we are ξεῖνοι of each other, and by ξεῖνοι, people who are bound by guest-friend obligations,
Right.
hosting, guesting obligations. From the start, if indeed you're asking, and maybe you're saying, let me hold that in abeyance. If you're asking about the old man, Laertes, the hero, coming to him.
So maybe it's
not
if you,
about. I think it's you ask him.
You go and ask him.
Yeah.
He'll tell you that we're
All right.
ξεῖνοι. I think that's the idea.
And if indeed you're asking,
You go and ask.
If you go and ask.
you go and ask, like checking with.
Yes, yep.
If indeed you go and ask the old man, you go up to the old man and ask him, how's that?
Yep.
Namely, Laertes, the hero, whom, now I know you can't say in English whom they say, who, comma, they say.
Yep.
That's the way you have to say it in English.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But here in the Greek it's whom they say, but then how is that?
That's not right.
Let's not go there. Okay, so
Whom in English just doesn't,
yes,
doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Yeah, I was
I
tempted to
remember-
say whom, but that would be hypercorrect.
apparently Joan Crawford once said at a board meeting of Pepsi Cola when she was the CEO, gentlemen, whom is kidding whom?
Perfect. Perfect.
Not good.
Not good. No.
Not good. So, so going back here, it's who, comma, they say, no longer comes over to the city, but far removed, ἀπάνευθεν, in the countryside, they say he suffers his bouts of pain, his specific instances of pain.
Yeah.
In the singular, it'd just be pain, and the plural, it would be very concrete. In the company of an old woman who is his attendant, a woman who sets out for him, next to him. I can just see it. It's sort of putting a plate right next to the old man, who sets up for him, or sets for him. Maybe that would be the way to say it in English. Who sets for him eating and drinking. In other words, things to eat and drink. Whenever fatigue grabs hold of his legs, as he is, in English you'd say, rattling around. But I guess he was sort of, in a very stylized way, moving around up and down the how shall I say, the ridge
Yep.
of the agricultural area, which is a vineyard. I think the alois is the more general and the oinopedoio is the more specific.
I think that's right.
Aloe can be an apple orchard or whatever, but if you add oinopedo, then it's a vineyard.
It's almost as if the oinopedoio functions as an adjective qualifying
I love that.
what kind of aloe it is.
Yeah.
Because aloe could also be a threshing floor.
It could be a threshing floor.
Any kind of even piece of ground.
All those
level.
things.
Yeah.
Wow. I think the one thing I would want to emphasize is how the narrative goes out of its way here to emphasize the self-distancing of Laertes. I like the way I did rattling around, herbrudzont.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
This is an old man rattling around in his
reminds
garden.
me of an old man in his pajamas
Yeah.
and his slippers and looking disheveled.
Yeah.
Like that mafia guy that had that pose in New York,
Yeah.
that would show up and meanwhile he's running the whole underworld.
Yeah. But herpuzzo is kind of a funny word.
Herpe
Herpe is one thing, but herpuzzo.
don't you think it's an expressive
exactly.
formation based on herpo?
Yeah,
I think it is. I think you're
And-
right.
One really cool thing about your passage, which is that every single line has an enjambment. It goes until the last line it stops when she gets through talking about Laertes.
And I noted when I was reading, did you see how I was struggling?
Yeah.
Because I forced myself to stop despite the syntax.
Yeah.
Is enjambment and how you perform enjambment. Because I think you have to perform it with making a stop, even though the syntax keeps going. And apparently that's the way Shakespearean performance was until it became decadent.
But
It's that you would do it line by line.
It looks like she's switched into this style, though, to talk about him. In other words,
Where does it stop?
It stops at line 195. Okay. You've got son, pater, and jamb, and then it goes back to whole lines and stopped lines. 5 of them in a row. 6, 7.
Well,
8,
wait a second. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Neso and amphiroute is kind
Kind of in jamb. Yeah.
But an ăgrioi is
ăgrioi, yeah.